Hey, another week of Bowls Exposed, and here we are at the sunny resort that is Somerton Bowling Club, Royal Somerton as it's called by commonly everyone that doesn't bowl here.
Yep.
And I'm joined with Marie Tumbas. Marie, welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me.
Now Marie, you've recently, as late as a couple of weeks ago, had some success with the state development side.
Certainly did. I got to play against the Victorians in the trial match and I really enjoyed it.
Well done.
Great experience.
And of course Marie's joining us today because we've got two outs. We've got Jess Alvaro, who normally joins us out with knee surgery.
Knee surgery, yep.
And we've got Nicole Carey, who's managed to take herself out with a cheek fracture and got stitches. So hopefully she's back on deck before the next episode or two and we'll get them all back on board.
Busy girls.
Absolutely. Look, coming up in the up-and-coming episode, we're rapidly approaching the last show. There's only a couple of shows to go, but we're going everywhere from Port Elliot to Hobart to Hawaii, New Zealand. We're covering all over the world. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get on with it and see what Somerton's got to offer.
The Somerton Bowling Club is a long, prosperous club. It's held its position in the bowling community, continues to do so. It's growing off the back of a lot of social bowling activity, a lot of community involvement, and in particular, growing the women's side too if we can, and we're working hard on that. It's not easy at the moment because we've got a few things to do to make it more attractive for women, and we're hell-bent on doing that as well.
Let's focus on the social aspect because Somerton's very good at the social function to bring in those social bowlers. So what makes Somerton so inviting to have these great people that we've got here tonight?
Well, the quality of the greens. I mean, everyone who comes here applauds the greens. The quality of the facilities, which you're standing in now, you've got to say they're pretty remarkable. The location, it's central. It's in a great weather zone, but people are friendly. The people here are inviting, friendly, warm, good people.
What attracted you to the game of lawn bowls?
Well, I started out doing night outs, and I love the social atmosphere of it, you know, the people around the game, and I love the strategy of it in itself. And I started doing pennants because basically I love the team atmosphere of it, having 4 rinks, it's a great team game.
So, Somerton Park, do you live close by?
I do, live in Brighton.
Well, there you go, fantastic. So you had a choice between the clubs to go to, but you came here. You know, we've spoken to a few of the people around here and they've said about the open environment. Is that what you find here at Somerton?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been coming here since I was about 8 years old. And since then, it's just the people around the club are fantastic.
Things just don't happen by themselves, and people come along and enjoy nights like tonight. We have a very active social program. We have an active social bowling program. A lot of people are involved, and recently, TJ, we did a count of how many people volunteer, you know, from our community to support this club. We stopped counting at about 1,700 hours. Look, it's an enormous number of people come here. Volunteer here. So the club is not just about bowling, even though we are mightily competitive out there in, you know, Major League and all the way through the grades. But people come here because it's a great life here.
So, and working behind the bar, I'm sure you see some sights around the club, mate. Anything that stands out as the funniest moment you've seen here in the club?
Funniest moment, that's a good one. There's a few characters around here, that's for sure.
Oh yes, there is.
Probably the funniest moments is when the old man or some of the old volunteers try to get behind the bar and try to volunteer. It's great for them to help out, but every now and again you kind of have to struggle a bit.
So mate, the game of lawn bowls, you're in there, the competitiveness of it. Any of your mates interested in coming along and giving it a go? Yeah,
I've got another mate of mine. We've been doing night owls probably for about 5 or 6 years. Been playing night owls and I've been trying to get him into the pennants. And every year I try to sign him up and hasn't quite happened.
Inch by inch, getting closer and closer.
Exactly right.
Excellent. So, look, if you had to walk away right now and tell me what was the one best thing about the game, mate, what would that be?
The people, that's for sure.
Thanks very much, Sean. We better let you get back to that bar, mate. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Ta. The Victorians came on a little trip over and met us at Marion Bowling Club.
Oh, yes, they did.
And look, I tell you what, fantastic results across the board with the ladies and the men's.
Yep, both winning 3-2. both men and women, so great effort by all.
So for the men, it came down to the last day, the last test.
Yes, it did.
So they
yes.
don't mind leaving.
That was a
incidents.
nail-biter.
Good preparation for our South Australian sides.
Oh, yeah.
Going into the national sides.
Yes.
Which is actually going to be held at Tuggeranong, Canberra.
Canberra, yes. They're all getting excited, ready to go.
So let's cross to the Marrying Bowling Club and see that footage now.
We're chatting here with Kane Corns. Now Kane, since retiring from footy, you've been keeping yourself busy. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, I have been. I took up a role as an ambassador for Hamilton Holden, which has been really good. I really love the local community that they give back to, and that was something that really attracted me to the brand. So it's been a lot of fun and I'm enjoying it.
Great. How have you adjusted for life away from the AFL?
Oh, it's been good. I've been keeping myself really busy, obviously, with the role with the fire service and doing a fair bit of media stuff with 5AA and the Advertiser and a few media brands. So I find myself probably more busy now that I'm retired than when I was playing.
So you're enjoying your new career as a fireman?
Yeah, it's been good. It's a bit of a change of pace and something different. It's a bit challenging and learning new skills and meeting new people. So that's been enjoyable, and balancing that with the other stuff, with travelling a fair bit to follow the port games around and call them on the radio and a few bits and pieces. So juggling that with being a dad also is keeping me busy.
Your recent article in the Advertiser stated that you thought Port would be unable to win an AFL premiership without Paddy Ryder. So how much of that is about rising the killer instinct of your old teammates?
No, I think it's, most of it is my opinion. I think it's going to be difficult for them to win the flag. I didn't say they wouldn't, but anytime you take the #1 ruckman out of any side, they're going to find it pretty difficult to win the flag. I said they might finish top 4. I'd be surprised if they didn't. So they're in for a good year. I'm just not sure if they can go all the way without Paddy.
There's a rising number of ex-professional sports players getting involved in lawn bowls. Now, could you see yourself playing lawn bowls?
I don't think I would take it up regularly. It's nice to come down here and have a bit of a bowl and have a bit of fun and get to meet a few new people, but probably not a sport that I'll look to take up permanently, but maybe down the track.
Does anyone in your family play lawn bowls?
I think my mum plays a little bit. I think she's just taken it up recently within the last sort of month or so, and she really enjoys it. It's a great social sport, and she's enjoyed coming down here and having a bowl and getting amongst it.
So have you at least had any experience at lawn bowls?
Oh, minimal, yeah. A bit worried about how tonight's going to go, but the odd footy occasion we've come down and got amongst it at different lawn bowls places, but yeah, not filling myself with a lot of confidence about how it's going to go.
Okay, and you're going to have a roll up with Joe shortly, is that right?
Yeah, just met Joe before. Apparently he's a bit of a guru, so see how we go.
During the week, Albert caught up with the head of PE at Scotch College down at the Hawthorn Bowling Club. They run a session for year 12s through bowls. We've spoken about this before. Fantastic.
And that's where our bowlers are coming from.
We've got to get them from somewhere, and they've got to start young, and we're starting them young down at Hawthorn.
That's it.
What a place to do it too. Brilliant greens, lovely location. So let's cross and look at that now.
Probably 3 years ago, I made contact with the Hawthorn Bowls Club to introduce lawn bowls into the Year 12 Phys Ed program.
We tell them all about bowls and what to do and what not to do, like I do. And
yeah, there's if you get the right technique, he's really handy at telling us how to fix it up, so it's good.
So yes, we chose lawn bowls as the third subject or practical subject because I think being a co-ed school, it brings the boys and girls together. They can start off at a level playing field. It's non-combative and it's easy on the joints, so it's just a good activity.
Yes, you're not allowed to say goals, you have to say shots.
Okay. Well, I play footy, basketball, bit of backyard cricket, yeah. Now lawn bowls, so yeah, probably won't take it up till I'm at least 65.
65. Oh, and I do rowing as well. So yeah, bit of something different.
Good. So the person who's standing on the map. Okay. So keep positive. I want you to come in here. Don't mention the 5 down. Just come and sit in here.
Oh well, we might have a Year 12 day kid versus border thing, but we'll see what's going on.
I did do lawn bowls as a Year 11 subject when I was at high school, which is probably part of the reason why I've introduced it into the Year 12 Phys Ed course, because I really enjoyed it and got to learn a lot about it that these students are now starting to learn as well. They're 5 weeks into the course, so they're still developing, but I'm sure there'll be some talent coming along, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, some of them are showing a fair bit of talent.
All right, guys, so who's winning out of the boys and the girls today?
The boys, definitely the boys.
Only just.
5-2.
I don't think they found it easy. They enjoy it. And they are now discovering what sort of tactics are involved in the sport as well.
Yes, one time I had it in small one or not at the inside and it went right out.
Yeah, well, we're trying to make a comeback. It's going well.
It might happen, but it's unlikely to happen.
In our last episode, I interviewed Les Burdett. Fantastic, talking about obviously his life in curating and bowls and how he was associated with the SACA, the great work that he did. Look, the interview went for a while. It was fascinating. We didn't want to lose anything. We want to show you all of that. We actually have part 2 coming up for you right now. Les Burdett. Les, thanks for being on the show, mate.
Pleasure.
Long-time curator of the Adelaide Oval. What was it like for you walking away from that and saying, you know what, I'm have to pull up stumps, it's the end of it, I'm going to retire?
It's amazing. I'm currently pitch consultant for Cricket Australia, which took me to Coffs Harbour last week and Alice Springs the week before, and I'm still involved. I've been gone now 6 years, but when I did retire in July of 10, I recall going back to the first test match after that and walking in the ground. It was like walking into a room and seeing my wife with another bloke. It was so much jealousy running through me. I thought, what in the hell have I done? And it took me a while to come to terms with the fact that I let 41 years of looking after that magnificent ground. I started as an 18-year-old kid, took over as a 27 and gave it away as a 60-year-old. And and memories, people. You know, when you play bowls, it's about the bloke you're playing with. The bowls is the catalyst to bring you to play, but it's those people around when you're playing bowls you enjoy so much. Similarly to Adelaide Oval, you know, my staff were my mates, the members were my mates. It was very much a family place to be, and still is. But it's, and when you think most bowling greens are around, you know, they've got the clay sand ratio, but a cricket pitch is around 65 to 80% clay, so a lot different soils to play with.
Yep. So for yourself, I mean, do you do any I guess, work on lawn bowls greens with the curators, give them advice and work with them on that stuff now?
No, I just come here on Thursday nights and play night hours and enjoy it. And the greens here are brilliant. I mean, there's no question about it. I really enjoy playing night hours on Thursday nights down here at Henley. The greens have always been fantastic. There's a couple of little spots he had start of this season, which I'm realist, and I know that sometimes things do happen, and they're all fixed now and they're all back on deck. But some guys that don't understand think, what's that little spot about that big doing there? And before you know it, it's fixed the next week.
Yep. So Henley Bowling Club, you're down here tonight. We can see the noise starting a bit. What's the one draw card for yourself that come down here?
Oh, look, bowls is the catalyst to bring us all together, and I have a hell of a lot of mates in the area of Henley, and I live at West Beach, just across the road a little bit. But I knew the guys were doing night hours while I was working all the time, and I was working my 6-7 day weeks during the summers, and I couldn't come and play bowls. But as soon as I retired, the first bucket list I ticked was I'm playing bowls on Thursday night with the boys at Henley, and I've done that. I missed last week because I was away the week before, but I'm back here Thursday night, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Les, thanks very much for joining us tonight, mate.
Pleasure, TJ.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, TJ, how's the Facebook's comments this week?
Well, look, we've had a couple in there. John Bevans suggesting, where would we be without sport music? John, great contributor to the game of bowls.
Certainly is.
And you're dead right, John. Where would we be without music and sport? Look, the other one, Jared Goodwin, old goodie.
Ooh, Jared.
Yes, well, he's got in there. Great to see Thursday night hours is going strong. It's where he first picked up a lawn bowl.
Oh, proud of the boy.
And he fell in love with the game. He's played for about 5 years, and as a 20-year-old started pennants at Brighton.
Well,
there you go.
There you go. You just never know, do you?
No. And also Chris McCallion from the Darwin Bowls Club. Loving the show. Thanks very much, Chris. And look, we might actually have Chris McCallion on one of the last 2 shows if we're actually lucky. He is actually a member of the NT Bowls team and actually bowls out of the Darwin Bowling Club. So look forward to catching up with Chris in an upcoming episode. Thanks for joining us on the show, as I said before, but look, I'd love from your perspective, look, you're playing Major League bowls.
Yes. I'm proud of it.
I'm not saying it's a rarity, but I tell you what, the ratio between men and ladies falling in the men's side.
Yes.
So what are some of the great things you love about playing Saturday bowls with your team?
Oh, it's mainly the competition. It's the grunt, the wanting to win, the power that the men have got over the women. And I actually enjoy men's bowls a lot better than I do women's bowls. It's more, and more enjoying, I should say. That's about the only word I can use for it. But as I spoke to John Bevan the other day, and he was saying how great our guys here at Somerton are doing this year. And I said, well, what about me? I'm in that squad. And yeah, he was a bit shocked to hear there's a girl in our Major League. So I was wrapped with that.
Look, great story. You've made it to the state development side, and we said you've had some great success. What keeps that edge that you've got? I mean, playing with the men, you talk about there's that testosterone flying across the green.
I think it's more the hunger for success.
Yep.
And wanting to be a part of a man's team, what they classify a man's sport, which I don't really think it is. But no, it's just the hunger to want to be there and to be successful at what I do.
Well, Marie, look, thanks again for joining us on the show. And as we said at the last minute, a couple of outs. We've dragged you straight off of the green, straight to join us on here. Look, thanks very much for chatting with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, joined here tonight with the CEO of Bowls New Zealand, Kerry Clark. Kerry, how are you this evening?
I'm good indeed, and nice to join up with you.
Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for the time. Look, an OBE, former lawn bowls competitor for New Zealand, mate. How long did you play the game for?
I still play the game, but I would say I'm very much a recreational player now. But I started very young, so I started playing bowls. I was 13 years of age, and I'm not going to tell you where I am now, but I've been playing for more than 50 odd years.
Mate, well, wherever you are, mate, it's got to be a good place. And I was reading somewhere where part of your role as CEO and you're going around to clubs, and it's no different than here in Australia, I guess, that, you know, it's a changing game. We need to bring people along for that journey. You mentioned in an article that a lot of your members were hoping that it's going to go back to the good old days. Do you find that a bit of an inhibitor to the change that you're trying to introduce through New Zealand?
Yeah, it's one of the greatest challenges that a sport like ours has got, and in fact, not just a bowls challenge, it's a traditional sport challenge, and across the whole sporting landscape now, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. The biggest challenges facing sport are that the engagement of people now with sport is so different to what it was than when traditional clubs started up. So our biggest marketplace now is a pay-to-play member, and it's a person who wants to play virtually in their time, so they've got 2 or 3 hours a week. And the way bowls are structured is that if you're competitive at all, you've got to play all weekend, all Saturday, all Sunday, and quite often on other days of the week. You can't get people in today's environment to commit to that sort of time.
You're exactly right, because one of the challenges that I think clubs face, irrespective of the stretch of water, so for both of us, is the fact that the pay-to-play players will come along. There's a group of 4 of them, they're mates. They enjoy one another's company, they have a meal or a drink or whatever they want to do. And then as a club, we find that one's talented and we want to quickly move them into a regimented environment that has rules, uniform, costs. Do you feel that the bowls in New Zealand is any different from what you've experienced here in Australia?
If you went back 10, 15 years across the bowling world, you would find the number of registered members, that is traditional members with World Bowls, would be around about 1.2 million people. It's now less than 600,000. Now it's less than 600,000 because the traditional membership is not where people want to be. That if you did a survey, however, or a census of your clubs of people playing and pay-to-play, there are more people playing bowls now than there ever were before, but they're not crossing the line. It's interesting over here that our central government sports body, Sport New Zealand, have just done some major survey stuff with clubs across 4 sports. We were one of their pilot sports. And the biggest turn-off for people is, if you're in the sport and you've been involved in it for 10 years or more, which many of our bowling people are, they're declining numbers. They say they like it the way it is, that you've got a whole lot of formality, that you dress in whites and you do all sorts of things, wear uniforms. Yet if you've got members of 5 years or less, and that's where the growth opportunity is, they don't like any of that stuff. So it's trying to bring those two things together.
Kerry, thanks for your time today, mate, and we really appreciate you being involved in our show, Bowls Exposed, here tonight.
No problem, TJ, and my pleasure.
Thank you. Well, hey, Marie, thanks for joining us today. We're coming to the end of another great show. What a night we've had. We've had Kane Corns out in your green. How'd that go?
Oh, very well. Apparently even beat one of our bowlers, so
and
took the kitty into the ditch and did really well.
So we're everywhere from Port Elliot soon, Hobart and Hawaii. So we've got a lot coming up. We've got some comedy surprises coming up in the next couple of episodes as well.
I can't wait for them to come.
There you go. So look, thanks for joining us this episode, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.